I'm Hailey.
Hi, I'm Hunter.
Hi, I'm Sheila.
And we are literate. Today we're going to rank and review books that we've all had to read for school.
It's been a little while since we put out a last episode. School's pretty tough, and I'm a huge-ass flaker. But we hope that you will enjoy this one just as much as our first one, and that it will be sufficient. What am I saying? Continue. Okay,
wait, we have an important announcement.
Right. So when we first started the podcast, we had agreed not to say where we go to college, but I made the mistake of mentioning that we have the number 2 happiest students. And while this is what they told me when I first applied here, apparently if you look it up on Google, it says that the University of Oklahoma has the happiest students, and that's simply not where we go.
Also, I wanted to point out that the fact that no one cared enough to look up what the number 2...
Except for us.
Except for us. It's like, some viewer was like, oh, they must go to the university. No one looked that up. No one cared enough. But, we want to clarify that we don't go to University of Oklahoma. That being said, our university still remains a secret, although it does rhyme with Schmanderville Schmuniversity, so that'll leave you in the wonder. And we go to... Alright, back it up.
Okay, let's jump in with the best books we read for each class.
And this is like high school, right? All of high school?
I did a little bit of middle school.
Yeah. But we haven't really dived into college yet.
No,
because
I'm not...
college book on here, though.
I'm not in any...
You did put a college book on
Yeah,
here?
I did.
That's fine.
Oh, well.
I'm not in any English classes right now, so...
Yeah.
Plus,
I don't think any of the books I've read.
Yeah.
I mean, I did take a Jane Austen course, so.
But
that's
you
what one of my books is from.
dropped it.
That I did drop.
Okay.
Really?
Ew.
You put a Jane Austen book on your list?
Yeah.
No offense if you guys
We'll
like Jane
talk about
Austen,
this
but-
later.
Yeah. Okay, so Hunter,
Oh,
start
am I
us
doing
off?
mine
Yeah.
first? Okay,
Yeah.
let me just open up my very limited notes that I have here.
it's fine.
Okay, so, I'll give the honorable mention first.
Okay.
Okay, and that would be The Road by...
Jack Kerouac.
No, that's On the Road.
Oh.
God,
Yeah.
big
Cormac
fan.
McCarthy.
Cormac McCarthy,
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
It's a dystopia novel set in a post-apocalyptic future. I think nuclear war has happened, and it's kind of like this desolate wasteland, radioactive wasteland, and people are crazy, there's cannibals, and it's about this father and son trying to survive in this world, and they're unnamed, they don't have names connected to them, so it's like, you can see yourselves. And the only reason it's not in the top 3 is because the book and Cormac McCarthy as an author doesn't use punctuation, and it's very irritating to read because there's no quotation marks around the dialogue, there's no commas, or I think there are periods, but that's it. Period, boo. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to say number 3 is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini, and I would probably give this like 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
And it's about this it's from 2 different timelines, but they kind of intertwine throughout the book, which I wouldn't say that's a spoiler. It's like, but it's a surprise. Anyway, it's about 2 different young Muslim women in Afghanistan who are both in their respective timelines sold off to the same man in an arranged marriage. So you follow the childhood of both of them, but then the childhood of one happens during the adulthood of the other. So it goes to the future where she's been a wife for 30 years, and then she's seeing another young girl falling into the same fate as she has had. And it's depressing. It's a sad book, but it's good. It's really good, and which I was really surprised that I had to read it because my English teacher that made me read it, so racist. It was amazingly racist. And she was like, let me turn that off. One time, she told us a story about how she was at a grocery store or something, and she saw a Muslim, and she thought they were gonna die. And I'm like, why are you telling your kids that you're racist?
Oh my God.
So there's that. And then number 2, I will say, is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. It's also dystopian, not really post-apocalyptic, but it follows this sort of plague that affects women, and now 90% of the women population, not even 90, 95 to 99% of the women's population are infertile. And because of this, this patriarchal society has created, it's like a religious theocracy in America where fertile women, poor fertile women are taken and basically enslaved to be these handmaids to get impregnated by the wealthier men and women and basically act as a child bearer for
Yeah,
these
there's a
people.
TV show about it too.
There is a TV show. I have not seen the TV show, but the
Either.
book was very interesting, and I read it sophomore year, and it's very provocative for a book reading during sophomore year.
One of mine is actually a Margaret Atwood book too. So.
Oh, okay. This is the only Margaret Atwood book I've read, though.
Oh,
but
okay.
I would like to read more. She's
Really?
a very
Yeah.
good writer.
She has
And
a lot of
brought
like social
The Handmaid's
commentary.
Tale with me.
Yeah, she has a lot of social commentary. In her
I would
books.
like reread The Handmaid's Tale because it was good, and I've been meaning to reread it. And
I
basically,
really want to see the show.
Oh yeah, me too.
and basically, if you like the definition of a modern classic, I would say is The Handmaid's Tale.
Well.
Anyways, because it was written like the 1980s,
Yeah. Okay.
and it's probably like one of the most important pieces of feminist text in
Yeah.
modern
yeah.
American literature.
I agree.
And then my favorite, and this is what I call my favorite classic, and that's The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I used to say that incorrectly, but then Hailey told me,
Well,
How'd you say it?
don't.
but we don't know. But we don't know if that's right.
I think it is right.
I think Fitzgerald is right.
I
but,
used to say Fitzgerald,
Oh.
but that's
like
probably,
Fitzgerald is right, right?
Yeah.
Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Fitzgerald,
Okay.
yeah.
Just making sure.
I just, am an idiot. But,
Jeffrey Eugenides.
it took me a while for that one. I forgot we read that book. Anyway,
Anyways.
I like The Great Gatsby because it is a very aesthetic book, which I know is like, wow, so indie to say, but you can like something because of the aesthetic, and I feel like the aesthetic of The Great Gatsby is good. And also, like, all the characters are complex, and you can't really justify every one of their actions, and it's very complex. The hero itself, the narrator, isn't really the most important character, and there's more you can speak onto that. And Hailey, you haven't read The Great Gatsby, have you?
No, but I got it for my birthday. So.
You
Nice,
would really
nice.
enjoy it.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's lots
I
of
also
like.
haven't seen the movie.
Oh, the movie is good too. A lot of people don't like the movie, but I liked it.
Well, it's got Young and Beautiful in it by Lana, so
Yeah.
clearly
yeah,
it's gotta be a great movie.
Yeah, critically acclaimed right there.
I've seen both adaptations, like the old Great Gatsby
I have not
adaptation.
seen the old one.
It's like not that good.
I
I
hear
have
it's
to
bad.
say. It's
It
not
has Mia
good.
Farrow.
It's
in it.
really
I've heard that
boring.
Leonardo DiCaprio's acting in The Great Gatsby was pretty good.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think he really carried the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And Spider-Man's in it, so
Which one?
the original one,
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
which is still kind of my favorite Spider-Man.
that's my favorite Spider-Man. Anyways,
Spider-Man 2, my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Spider-Man 3 when he has the emo.
You're lying.
No.
You're lying.
It's ironically my favorite Spider-Man movie.
You're.
Come on, that's hilarious. He puts the eyeliner on and
he
starts like
dances.
dancing.
I hate that.
Yes, and he's just like
so much.
improvising on the piano.
That's the worst.
The-
That's like
That's the best of his Spidey powers. Although
The
that was
emo?
like evil Spidey.
it
Emo
was
Spidey.
Venom.
He was having just an emo
Dead.
phase. We all go through it at some point.
That's like highly held to be the worst scene in like Spider-Man history.
Oh no, it's the best in Spider-Man. Absolutely. That tops the kiss, the Mary Jane kiss. Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, Mary Jane. Why would weird name?
Anyways.
Okay.
Sheila.
Okay, here's my best three. I have an honorable mention: The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan.
You had to read that for
Yes.
school?
Yes, I read it in middle school.
I love.
Imagine having to read it for school. That's
that would have
crazy.
been so
Yeah,
cool.
but like the thing is that like it's like an honorable mention because I had already read it beforehand.
Oh, okay.
So like I don't count it. Like I didn't
Right.
read it because of school, but I was like, I already
Right.
know.
I feel like
what's
The
going
Lightning
on.
Thief is like one of those books that like you didn't read for school, but like you saw in the school libraries and like
Oh,
everybody
yeah,
read
yeah.
it, so you
Mhm.
read it.
Right.
Mm,
Like,
no.
there's very few people like that I know who haven't read the Percy Jackson series.
Yeah. It's such a like a bonding experience.
Yeah, I love Percy Jackson.
Me too.
Pivotal. It's just so good. I
Percy
remember
Jackson
reading it.
means so much more to me than Harry Potter does.
Dude,
Yeah,
me too.
me too.
Especially with J.K. Rowling and like Rick
Yeah.
Oh,
Riordan.
yeah.
Rick
Rick Riordan.
Riordan. He's
Right.
like
Love
such
him.
a king.
I
He's
love
such a
him.
king.
Okay. My number three though, that would be Great Gatsby.
It's almost
Yeah.
like it's a popular
It's a 4 out of 5 for me.
4 out of 5. I gave it
Yeah.
4 out of 5, I think.
Yeah, I give it a 4 out of 5. It was I read it senior year of English, and yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people talk about it. They're like, oh, it's like so pretentious, and I'm like, that's kind of the point.
Yeah. Kind of like with Donald Hart.
Yeah. Like that's the point. And I get like if you don't like the point, but also I think that there's like a lot of complexity within Great Gatsby, and also the iconography of Great Gatsby, like green light.
Oh
Yeah,
my
the
gosh.
color
So-
symbolism in that book.
Yes, it's
I
There's a
see
lot
so
of
many
colors.
jokes about it, even though like
green
I
light.
haven't.
Yeah,
And how it like
it's-
represents. I've seen that it represents like money
You
or
would
something.
really like Great Gatsby.
I want
Okay.
Great Gatsby.
I'll read
tattoo.
it over break.
Yeah. Okay. My number 2 is The Things They Carry by Tim O'Brien.
That's about to be a memoir, right?
Yeah, it's about to be a memoir.
Oh, okay.
It's really good. It's like realistic, kind of. It's like based on like real people's lives. And I didn't read it for English class. I read it for my theory of knowledge class.
It's an IB thing.
In high school?
IB, yeah.
We
It's
wouldn't-
essentially like glorified philosophy.
In high school?
Yeah,
Yeah.
IB. It's IB.
IB.
IB is weird.
Okay, IB. They literally made me write a mini dissertation.
She wrote it on
Lolita.
Lolita, which we were supposed to talk about, but we'll save that for another time.
We'll save it. But I wrote 4,000 words on Lolita. I spent like basically an entire year researching Lolita. So IB, really fun. And then I come here and I have to write another paper on Lolita. So I was like, cool. I spent so much time in that book. Oh my god.
She's starting to hate it.
I am starting to hate it, quite frankly. Okay, but either way. So the things they carry. That was a very good book. Okay, and like part of the reason why I liked it so much was because in class we would read it out loud together, and I feel like it added more to the book because it is like realistic, and so like having it like read out to me made it more realistic as well.
Right.
Because I feel like if there's like a disconnect to it, then you're just like, okay, whatever. And then my number 1 is When You Reach Me by Rebecca Steed. I read this in 5th grade, so I was about 10, and it's like my favorite book of all time. And I brought it with me to college. I love that book. Okay, so what's it essentially about? It's about this girl. She's kind of poor. Either way.
I've never heard of this book.
Really?
Neither.
It's so good.
When You Reach Me by
Rebecca Steed.
Rebecca
It's
Steed.
so good. It's over there.
What is it about? Oh, you're telling us, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Essentially, it's about this girl. She lives with her mom in New York, I believe, and her mom has a boyfriend. Like, she doesn't really have like a father figure necessarily. They're kind of poor, and so what her mom is trying to do is she's trying to go on a game show in order to get money. And then throughout, I think like the book is kind of like a coming of age book, but for like 10-year-olds. And there's good. It's like kind of like existential as well. Like there's time travel elements in there, and I don't know. It's so good. I remember reading it and I was like, wow.
When did you read it?
I was 10.
Was this for school?
Yeah, it was for school.
Oh, that's the point of the
It was no. I remember reading it. I was like, wow. And like I was like, I'm so smart now. Like time is circular. I was like,
Is it a chapter book?
Yeah, it is a chapter book.
When You Reach Me.
It's like about, I think about 200 pages.
Is it
That's your
about-
number 1?
Yeah, it's my number
Wow.
1. It's like one of my favorite books of all
You know,
time.
I thought this was going to turn into, like, when you were giving the summary, I thought it was going to turn into, did you guys see that Black Mirror episode, 10 Million Mirror, or 10,000 Mirror?
I haven't seen Black Mirror.
Okay, never mind. Well, basically, like, you, like, accumulate these points to, like, do different things. I don't know. Anyways, I thought it was going to be, like, spooky. But
No, it's
It
not.
was a book she read when she was 10.
I was 10 when I read it.
It was like one of those like meaningful.
Yeah.
Right.
It was really good.
coming of age.
I really, yeah.
I didn't
basically
really. I didn't like look back on books that I read before high school.
I don't know. I
Okay,
just picked
I
that
did.
one because it was like so meaningful to me.
Right.
Right.
Like I reread it 2 years ago and I still really enjoyed it. Yeah, one of my favorite books of all time. Would highly recommend. You guys should read it. It'd probably take like half an hour.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll check it out. Okay, so my number 3 is, actually my honorable mention. My honorable mention is Catcher in the Rye, which I've talked to Sheila about it, and you know, this book is it's kind of polarizing. It's a bit controversial. Like I think people either love it or they hate it.
I feel like I would hate it.
I don't.
I
You
feel
don't
like
know?
I wouldn't enjoy it.
I don't know. You would not. Yeah, Sheila would not like this book. Hunter, I think you would like it.
Really?
Yeah, I think you
Is
would.
it pretentious?
A little bit, yeah.
Will it make me want to kill the remaining beetles?
I forgot about that. I was like, I was trying to make the connection. I was like,
You said,
yes.
what-
Isn't
what
that
are you
the
talking
book that
about?
like a lot of murders?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
So a lot of like murderers and like like serial killers or
A
something.
great book.
Like they just they have it with them. But I don't know. I guess there's like
Why?
I think it's because of like the rebellion and like the the main
Did
character
you read
in
it
my
and
opinion.
think, I want to murder someone.
No, but the main character in my opinion is kind of like a sociopath a little bit. I don't know. He just has like no emotion throughout the entire story. Anyways, so that was my honorable mention. But instead, for number 3, I decided to put a short story, which I don't know if we're allowed to do, but I'm going to because it's really good. So basically, it's about this guy who gets shipwrecked on an
You
island.
should tell us what it's called first.
Oh, sorry. It's The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell.
I read this freshman year, so I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I read it.
And I really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I thought we were doing books. And not
Okay,
short
all right.
stories, Following the
Anyways,
rules.
a rule breaker. What can I say?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, no.
continue.
I read it in 8th grade, and so it's about this guy who gets shipwrecked on an island and is taken in by this mysterious count who has this like huge castle and really likes hunting. And then not to spoil it or anything, but later the reader finds out that the Count really enjoys hunting humans, which is a really good plot twist in my opinion. So I give the short story a 5 out of 5 because it's my favorite short story and I really enjoyed reading it. So my number 2 is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, which I read in 7th grade, I think. And I was really, really obsessed with this book for a good while. And they usually have, I don't know, I bought the movie too. And then I just kept watching it over and over, and I would watch, like, behind the scenes and, like, interviews and stuff. Also, like, the guy who plays Soda Pop in that movie, it was, like, my celebrity crush for a solid, like, 3 years. I think it was Rob Lowe. Anyways.
Rob Lowe.
But he was, like, really young. Anyways. Okay, so the book focuses on this group of greasers who fight with the socials, who are, like, they're richer. And in the book, they call them socias, which I definitely pronounced socks for the longest time until my teacher pronounced it in class. And so the greasers, one of them ends up killing a soc. And eventually the boys have to go into hiding. And I'm not going to spoil it, but there are some sad deaths. Anyways, so I think everybody here's read this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
This might be
like,
the single book that we've all read out of
right.
all the books on our list.
I'm very neutral on this book.
I know, yeah, we talked about it.
Okay,
yeah.
so here's the thing. I like this book, but it's because I had so many fond memories of it in 7th grade. I don't know if it would still hold up if I reread it.
Right, yeah, I need to reread it, but I really liked this book.
And also, S.E. Hinton is, like, canceled.
Problematic.
You said, I can't deal with that. Do you want me to explain why?
Yeah.
She's
Okay,
homophobic.
she's homophobic.
Oh, no.
And, a month ago, she tweeted something about how reading comic books and graphic novels isn't real reading.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, that's so elitist of you.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. She was like, I wrote this book so that people would actually read. Like, I don't want it to be turned into a graphic novel.
Because someone asked her about a graphic novel adaptation of The Outsiders, which I think would be pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah, that would be really
Yeah.
cool.
But she was like, no. This is actually one of the first books people actually read.
Right.
Read.
Also, like, wouldn't she get a bunch of money if there was a graphic novel
Yeah.
made? Like, why would she?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
She's
Anyways.
gatekeeping reading, I guess.
Right.
And, like, with the homophobia, like,
Yeah.
there's some people who are, like, noticing, I don't know, like, characteristics in the books between two characters, and are like,
Oh,
could
like
they be...
Ponyboy and
Yeah.
Johnny.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, oh, could they be gay? And she's like, absolutely not. That is incredibly outrageous. Blah, blah, blah. Like, being really problematic about it.
Yeah, it was really bad. I was like, girl, just, like, move on.
Our childhood faves
Ponyboy,
continue to.
he was sus.
He
Disappoint
would
us.
disappoint us. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
when you use initials.
Essie. Oh, JK, Essie.
Yeah.
Okay. I give this book a 4 out of 5, although I might have to give it a little bit lower now because of the author. Okay, so my number 1 all-time favorite is actually a Margaret Atwood novel, just like Hunter had on his list, and it's Oryx and Crake. So I saved the best for last, and per usual, Atwood's writing really made it hard for me to put this book down. It's a dystopian novel, and it follows the friendship of Jimmy and Crake. And Jimmy is eventually renamed Snowman because I think he wants to, like, disassociate himself from, like, his past life. And he, in the novel, represents the arts, like, the humanities, while Crake represents consumerism and, like, scientific advancement. And there are a lot of, like, twists and turns in the book, and it's really good. I don't even really know where to start with it. It's kind of controversial, though, and, like, one girl in my class brought in a note to, like, not read it because it was, like...
Oh.
No. Oh,
yeah.
The Handmaid's Tale, we had to sign a permission slip to be able to read it in class.
Okay, we didn't have to sign a permission slip for this one, but, like, yeah, a girl's parents were like, you're not reading this.
And there was this really conservative girl who, like, was still opposed to reading it, and she had to read 1984 instead in the hallway by herself.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, imagine being that, like, anti-feminist.
Yeah.
I said, say you hate women and let's
Right,
go.
yeah. So my favorite theme from the book is the desensitization of humanity, and what?
Sorry, I just made another noise, and I was like,
Oh.
you're gonna crucify me for it.
No, and I really liked Atwood's commentary, which there was a lot. And I mean, I guess I could see, like, why, although I don't agree with this, I could see why the girl's parents didn't want her to read it, because there was, like...
Well, the cover on my version of the book that I have in my dorm has, like, full-blown nipples on them, so I could
Oh.
understand why.
Yeah, there was like a lot of talk about, like, I mean, one of the main characters is, like, a sex slave, basically. Well, she's a child, like, sex slave, and so that's, like, kind of, like, it's kind of graphic sometimes, and, like, also, like, what I was talking about, the desensitization of humanity is, like, the main guy, Crake, is, like, high-key a psychopath, and he watches, like, people being beheaded and stuff, because I think the commentary was, like, we as humans constantly need, like, more for, like, to like arouse us now, you know?
Or for like stimulation.
Right, yeah. And not even like in that way, but like just to like be like, wow, that's so cool, you know? Like movies are getting like more graphic, I guess, and sexual, so
True.
that was kind of the commentary. Anyways, I give this book a 5 out of 5. Would give it a 6 out of 5 if I could. But I can't.
You can.
Okay, I guess
What's
okay.
stopping you?
6 out of 5. Math.
We
But
are
math is not stopping
changing the
me.
rules
Right.
on this podcast.
I already put a short story too.
Oh,
Um,
right.
Oh.
Anyways.
Haley does not like to follow the rules.
No, that's why I like Catcher in the Rye so much. Anyways.
Because she wants to murder
No,
you.
no. Please go read this book if you have not already. So,
Orcs and Crake? Or
yes.
Catcher in the Rye?
Orcs and Crake. Catcher in the Rye was my honorable mention. Anyways.
Honorable mention.
Okay, Orcs and Crake. So now for the worst of them, which
Are we going to worst now?
yeah, for me at least, the worst was very easy to remember.
Yes, the worst ones are kind of more notable to me.
They are like it was so
than-
much easier to come up with my worst list than
Than
my
my
best.
It was
list.
easier for me to come up with
Yes.
my best list.
Really.
Yeah.
I just have lots of books that I read for school that I hated.
Yeah.
Okay, a
'Cause
lot of the
I feel
books
like-
for school, I feel neutral on.
The majority of books I feel like we are forced to read in school should not be taught anymore.
Right.
Like American literature needs to move away from this canon of dead
Mhm.
white men. From
Well, see, for me, I got lucky because I went to a school where like we didn't read like we read some classics, but like it was really like some of the teachers were kind of like, oh no, we're gonna read like these really abstract books that like no one's ever heard of before, and like I'll talk about one of them later. So I've read a lot of classics, but mostly like on my own. Like I haven't had to read them for school, you know. So I
That's
guess
crazy.
it's kind of nice. Yeah. Anyways.
Wish I could relate. I read To Kill a Mockingbird.
Well, okay. I've read To Kill a Mockingbird for school. I mean,
Yeah.
who hasn't?
That should be on this list. I didn't put it on my list.
Why is that required reading?
I don't
Like,
know.
what
It's
is the
very
point?
white savior.
It is like people praise Atticus, and like he did the
No.
bare minimum.
He was
did
really
his job.
doing his
like-
job.
And also, that's like, they said, okay, that's activism.
Yeah.
So
And
then
the book
my
by the
teachers,
white man.
they're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
youth activism.
Yeah, exactly.
Enough talk
So-
about race.
yeah.
I don't think I read one book by a black author.
I read Kindred.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I
like,
think
here's
I
the thing
read
about
one.
IB. So, like, IB, they literally make it so that you can't read, like, books from the same country.
Oh,
There's
that's
literally,
nice.
like, an because it's literally international. So, like, you have to have books from different countries and different cultures.
That's really nice.
No, I read lots of books by white men.
Yeah.
Also, like, I'm from, like, a really, like, Bible Belt
Right.
Yeah.
school district.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like y'all are both still in the South, but you're from an urban area.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
A very liberal, the most liberal in the state.
Yeah.
Country.
In the state. And you come from, I don't know, some
Art school.
Art
some
school.
art school, yeah.
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Art
But I'm
school.
at a typical Southern,
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because
so-
I went to a very typical Southern like public school my freshman year, and it was very
Right.
actually like one of my least favorite books is because of that school.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Hunter, you want to start with your 3?
My 3 worst ones?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go in descending order.
Okay.
So,
Do you have an honorable mention?
Let me think.
That's a no.
No,
Okay.
If I think
Okay.
of one, I will.
I just thought of
lay
one,
it.
so
I will
I'll do
think.
the same
I
one.
will list it. If
Okay.
I think of it. Well, To Kill a Mockingbird, I guess.
Yeah. Ugh,
It's
No.
so
hated that
overrated.
book. It's so overrated.
There's so many better books on race
Right.
by, like, actual, like, people of color.
Right.
Correct.
We had to read Kindred, which you
I really want to read.
Oh,
Kindred.
that's
aren't
so
you reading a
cool.
book by the author?
Octavia E. Butler.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked Kindred. A lot of people in my class didn't though,
Wow.
but I don't know. I think they didn't like the writing, but I liked it.
I
Okay,
like
wait, I have an honorable mention. The person you mean to be. Like-
no.
it. Okay,
God.
pack it up.
All right, back it up.
Anyway, my show.
Okay.
This is my show. Anyway, in 3rd place is Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights has a strong beginning, in my opinion, introducing this atmosphere, but then it just gets really bad. Like, not even half. It's like a little over halfway through. Like, the second half of the book sucks, and I stopped caring, and it got boring, and I hated it. But it's interesting. The first half is, at least.
I haven't read it.
And then it's very confusing because there's like freaking 3 different girls named Kathy, and you have to figure out which one is which.
Ew.
It's so annoying, and they have weird names. Heathcliff is one of them.
Heathcliff, yeah.
And then number 2, deciding between 2 and 1 is hard for me because I hate both of these books with passion. Like Wuthering Heights, I had like some enjoyment reading
Right.
it, but these other 2 books I hated. So I'm gonna say number 2 is Lord of the Flies by
I really
Dude,
like Lord of
I
the Flies.
like
That's
Lord
so
of the
by
Flies.
controversial.
William E. Golding. Is that his
Yeah.
name? William Golding. Yeah.
Dude, I
There may
like
not
Lord
be
of
any.
the
Maybe it's 'cause he's a
Flies.
guy.
William Golding. Because I'm a guy.
Maybe
Yeah.
you related to the characters.
No, I
but-
did not whatsoever.
You-
I
Wait,
believe
why
that
didn't
was
you like
bullshit.
it?
yeah, wait, why didn't you like it?
I don't know. It's just like I don't know. It's just like watching these. It was just so hard to read. It was painful to read.
Really? I
For
really
me,
liked it.
Yeah, it was like such a short book too,
Mm-hmm.
and it was painful to read.
Well-
Everyone in my school hated it.
Really? Okay, I flew
was like
through that book.
universal.
I like
hated.
it. You
Universally
flew
hated.
through the book.
I
You like,
flew through-
Lord
I
of
like
the
you flies.
Flies, And I don't feel like it's actually characteristic of what would happen.
No, see, I think it
I
absolutely
think it is characteristic.
I think
don't
it absolutely
think so.
because there's
Yes.
always gonna be like a leader who emerges through.
Yeah,
the,
like that, but I don't think it is like.
I think it is.
I don't know.
I think that there's always going to be like that survival instinct that will take over.
Mhm. Like
And-
eating people.
Yes, but also they
I
were
actually
all
feel like
boys.
in smaller survival settings, something more like communism would happen,
I don't know.
and not.
I
think I'd move
anarchy,
pretty quick to-
fascism.
No, I think I'd move pretty quick to like the whole like survival of the fittest thing. You know.
I don't know.
Oh.
I guess we won't know until we get stranded on an island or something.
I don't know. Apocalypse is happening soon, so
Yep. Stay tuned.
stay tuned for our apocalypse episode. All right,
Alright.
number 1, which is definitely my most hated, The Scarlet Letter by
Mhm.
Nathaniel Hawthorne. Have y'all read it?
No.
I read an
Don't.
excerpt.
Don't ever read it. It
Okay.
sucks. It's basically religion and childbirth and adultery, but not even fun adultery. It's like hinted at adultery that's boring.
How long is it?
Like 300 pages.
Okay.
No.
So I was gonna say maybe I should read it now,
And
but
it's the
kind
worst
of long.
300 pages of my life. It's written in like 17th century Victorian language.
Yeah.
It's Victorian literature.
Yeah.
And Victorian literature is my least favorite.
Really?
I hate
My least
Victorian
favorite. Actually,
literature.
I'll talk about my least favorite later.
So the Scarlet Letter, it's like this woman, which is funny because I feel like the Scarlet Letter and the Handmaid's Tale
Mhm.
have very similar themes. It's just the Scarlet Letter is just
Isn't a Scarlet
Terrible.
Letter or Scarlet Letter like a bad omen? Like something bad's coming? Isn't that what it means?
Scarlet Letter is literally a letter that's A, which stands for adulterer. Adulterer.
Yeah, but I thought like
You know,
the word is Scarlet Letter. Like,
mm-mm. Scarlet
I've
Letter
never heard of that.
what?
probably refers to
Let me look
like
it up. I'm gonna
someone who is
Look it up.
publicly shamed. I don't know. Because she's publicly shamed in the book. The Scarlet Letter. A Scarlet Letter. Go to Urban Dictionary.
Okay, there's like,
I guarantee that it'll be
meaning?
something.
Scarlet Letter meaning. In my school, the people like the juniors had to read it, and
See, like I said,
their thing was that like you think it's interesting, but it's actually super boring.
it's super boring to read.
Oh, it's a symbol of shame.
It's just a simple
Yeah,
shame, yeah.
shame.
What am I thinking of? There's like a short story
Dang,
where
Da
there's like.
Vinci. All right, who's next?
Okay, I'll go. Okay, my number 3. Okay, so you know how you don't like Victorian literature?
Yep.
I hate Southern literature.
That's my least favorite. I talk about that later.
Seriously?
Oh
I
my
hate
god.
I like Southern literature.
I don't. Okay,
I
my
hate
number
it.
3 is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
Oh, not
by
That's
Southern
understandable.
Mark
That's understandable.
Twain.
I like
Mike Twain?
Southern literature
Mark.
of like.
We love Mike Twain.
I like Southern literature that's not written by white men.
That's.
So like diverse Southern literature.
I have never read Southern literature that's not written by a white man.
Yeah, well, that's I don't know.
Maybe that's why.
I like diverse literature written by the oppressed during that time.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah,
However,
I get that.
The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, I hate it so much. Like, God.
I haven't had to read Mark Twain ever.
Really?
Yeah.
You're very lucky. I had to read it for school.
I'm pretty sure I went to his grave.
My English teacher
Did you stop on
who read it,
Oh.
he was so racist.
Really?
Mark
Why are
Twain.
our English teachers just
Mark
like,
Twain
Like,
hated
he
Jane
called me
Austen,
like an
so
Asian
maybe
gang
I like
leader.
it. Oh,
And
your
he-
teacher, not Mark Twain. I was like,
My
Mark
teacher
Twain
did. My
called
teacher-
you what?
Mark Twain called you
Also,
what?
okay, here's my other beef with the book. The excessive use of the N-word. Mark Twain.
Yeah. Okay, the same thing with To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes. Like they were like, "Oh, I had the
English
pass.
teachers be like, "No, we got the pass because we're reading it in class." I'm like, no, I don't think so.
I don't know about that, Chief. Okay. Here's my number 2. Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I hate Northanger Abbey.
Oh, okay. I thought it was still in your favorites.
No.
No, I hated.
I hate Northanger Abbey.
I hated all of Jane Austen. All of it's terrible. Don't read it.
That's a
Okay.
bit controversial.
It is a bit
Okay, here's
controversial.
my thing with Jane Austen. You should read Sense and Sensibility,
You shouldn't
Emma,
read any
and
of it.
I was just gonna
Pride
say
and
Emma.
Prejudice.
All of it's bad.
I've read Emma.
You haven't even read Pride and like.
I read
I've seen the movie.
50% of it. I bet the movie is boring.
No,
the movie's good.
So good.
I bet the movie has some snore parts.
Oh,
No.
well, don't most movies?
No.
Movies are made for people with short extensions. who
Okay,
can't
that's
read
true.
books. So if you made a boring movie, that's a good job.
You want to know what is an Emma adaptation? Clueless.
That's
Clueless
very
is a
elitist of me.
great movie.
Mhm.
That's elitist of you.
All right,
Me
pack it up,
saying-
Essie
Pack it up.
Hinton.
Pack it up.
Pack it up.
Back it up. Okay, no, I hate Northanger. Northanger Abbey, the main character, is so genuinely stupid. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, she's so naive, she's sheltered. No, she's just an idiot.
Oh, we're talking about Northanger Abbey.
Yes, Northanger
Sorry, I
Abbey.
blanked out at the mention
We're
of
talking
Jane
about
Austen.
Yeah, I'm like, Hunter's an idiot.
Well, I would believe you, because I'm Hunter.
No, Northanger Abbey.
Because
one.
I'm Madison Ray. Alright. What's
Okay,
the next
Number
one?
one.
My number one is Jacob Have I Loved by Catherine Peterson. No.
Never have.
Patterson.
Never have I ever heard of that book.
Never have I ever. Oh.
It's so bad. You
They
are
didn't
lucky.
see us do the finger motions.
They have no idea. What
We need to narrate.
No, we don't.
Haley chuckles. Okay, continue.
It's so bad. Okay, so essentially, it's about a girl who is like
A person.
no. Okay, so there's two. She has a sister, and her sister is like the shining star. Like she's like the perfect sibling essentially,
Okay.
and she's like the ugly duckling. So we're following the ugly duckling.
Okay.
Duckling.
Ugly duckling, and then it's so bad. Oh my god. No, and like
Why is it bad?
she's so annoying.
Who, the main character?
The main character is so annoying because she has such a complex against her sister. And like
oh, she's like, I hate successful women.
yes, and you're supposed to like feel
That
sympathetic
bitch.
towards her, but she's so freaking boring. Like she does nothing for herself. And then she also ends up having feelings for this guy who's literally 60 years old. Like
Sugar daddy.
This is a.
there's a
Children's
pass.
book?
Yes, it's a. I read this in middle school. And then there's like there's like a passage
What's
in
his
it.
name? Herbert.
Humbert.
No.
Humphrey. Humbert.
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 HH, yeah.
He has the
Humbert,
same
Humbert.
last name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like-
He's from
like
Lolita,
the
by
country
the way.
music star Philip Phillips.
Ew.
I remember watching him on American Idol. Anyways.
Said,
Okay,
"Home,
I know
let me
nothing
go
about him.
home."
Philip Phillips.
I know
Philip
nothing
Phillips.
about Philip Phillips.
Well,
Yeah,
do you guys remember
just-
Scotty McCreery?
No.
We have the same
From
birthday.
American.
Yes! Oh my gosh, I loved him when we watched it. I was like,
American Horror Story.
like 9? I was like, wow.
You know who shares the same birthday as me?
Who?
Michelangelo, Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Tyler,
I have the
the
same birthday
creator.
as Steve from Blue's Clues. Or,
well, I have the worst one. I share the same birthday as Liza Koshy. So
This is really.
You said
a tangent.
musically.
I said I got it worse.
you do have worse.
Yeah, it's so bad. There's like one scene though. There's like where they're holding hands and she's talking about how much like older his hands look compared to hers, and I remember feeling
I thought you
such
were still
disgust.
talking about Liza Koshy.
No.
Liza Koshy and David
Okay,
Dobrik.
here's my flex. I never thought Liza Koshy was funny.
I didn't either.
No.
I never once like who thinks
She
she
said,
was
"I
funny?
make funny face and pun."
And then we
She
laughed.
said,
No.
"I'm gonna say this in a weird voice." Laugh.
Okay, but Sheila and I have both had a huge like vlog squad phase, which
Yeah, we
is
did.
embarrassing
Vlog
to
Squad.
admit.
Who's Vlog Squad?
Who's the
David
vlog squad?
Dobrik?
Like David Dobrik and his friends.
You.
I know.
Oh,
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen
one
It was a
more.
low point.
David Dobrik Tesla post. I'm like,
Oh my god.
It's on site.
If
has
you
anyone,
post
has
that in your
anyone
story.
won a Tesla? I don't
Actually,
think
I don't
anyone
Okay,
actually
no.
won
This
a
one girl
Tesla.
from Memphis, she actually won it.
I feel like that's BS.
He FaceTimed her and she posted about it. So
Of course, someone you know won a Tesla. From
Anyways,
David Dobrik.
anyways, back to the point.
Yeah. I think it's your turn.
Okay, so my honorable mention, I actually just thought of, and I cannot remember the author's name, but it is The Lone Ranger and Tonto, Fist Fight in Heaven. And I read it sophomore year, and I remember my teacher...
Like a Johnny Depp movie. Wait,
What?
Yes.
No, that's just The Lone Ranger, right?
but like
It's
the
no, it's not.
same thing.
No,
right?
no. No.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Anyways, I remember my teacher saying that this was the book, like, she hated reading for a little while, and then, like, this was the book that made her, like, want to keep reading it. I said, this is the worst book I've ever read. I hated it so much. Yeah, that was a really bad book. It was, like, a bunch of short stories.
About a Lone Ranger in
no,
the desert?
No.
Played by
no.
Johnny Depp?
God, it was about, like, Native Americans. And, yeah.
Played by Johnny Depp?
No, he's not a Native American.
That's not gonna
It was
stop
not
him.
good.
That's not gonna stop Hollywood.
Well,
Scarlett
now he's,
Johansson
like,
entered the chat.
he's, like, not allowed to be in any movies anymore.
Yeah.
No,
We're not going to
he's
dive
not.
into that. is
Yeah, we won't dive into that. Anyways,
we won't give our opinions on the matter.
is it
An opinion?
is it an opinion or?
Well, I think it's still kind of controversial.
I don't know.
Anyways, so that is my honorable mention. My number three for me is, like we were saying, Southern literature. Is my least favorite genre. I don't like it, and yeah. So this is a bit controversial because I think so many people love this author, but I read the short story Barn Burning by William Faulkner and absolutely hated it. And so actually my best friend and I called ourselves the Anti-Faulkner Club after we read this because we hated it so much. And it was super slow-paced and boring, and like even for a short story, and it was also really hard to understand. So, I mean, yeah, I don't really have much to say about this except it was disgusting.
A little bit of As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner for my junior English class, and I actually liked it.
I don't know. I don't like him very much.
It was alright. It was
I haven't read anything by him.
It wasn't like terrible. I think you should read As I Lay Dying. It's like kind of weird. It's about a mother who is dying and laying down.
And she's lying down? Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
As she's dying.
You know, I think that's a spoiler alert.
I think that is. Okay, so my in place 2, I have Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. So I read
Joseph Conrad. Who's that?
Actually, he's the author of Heart of Darkness.
Really?
Yes.
Isn't he
I
like
had
the
no
author of something
idea.
else too?
I don't know. I didn't want to do any more research on it.
Hey, Siri.
Like that.
Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Well, she can
She
stay
said.
asleep. Okay.
As
Alright.
she, okay.
As she should.
So I read a book called Things Fall Apart my sophomore year, which is by
My
Chinua
freshman
Achebe.
year right now.
My sophomore year, which is by Chinua Achebe, and this book was written as a response to Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. And basically, Achebe wrote it as commentary on the racism in Heart of Darkness. And I don't know, the book... Yeah. Okay, it's very
So
racist. It's
racist.
very, very racist.
We just looked up a book he wrote and it's not good.
No, it literally has
He used the
the
N-word.
N-word
The
in the
N-word
title of
title.
the
R.
book. Yes.
With the hard R.
Right, and this is a white man. This man is...
What is it with like old
White.
white authors? And they're like, I'm just writing it down so I get the pass. What is it?
Yeah, right.
You're
Like,
still white.
He said it's for the historical context.
no. Anyways,
You know.
it's racist, and it was really hard for me to understand. And also, like, not gonna lie, my roommate and I used SparkNotes for the whole thing because we had no idea what was going on. And I think at this point it might be considered a classic. I don't know. Like, if you go to a coffee shop, sometimes they like have it in the bookshelf, which is like weird.
Oh.
Like, it's a surprising amount of coffee shops that I've seen this book in.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, have you guys read this book?
That's
Like,
such a
have you read
niche
this?
thing.
No.
What is it about?
God, I can't even tell you. No, I could. It's about like Europeans coming to colonize Africa. So,
Oh.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
side was he on?
well, take a guess.
And
this is
And it's
you gotta read this.
well, it's based on his true experience too.
Wait, did you read this
Are
in the public school?
Are the Africans?
No, I read this in the art school.
Really?
Are the Africans painted?
Well, see, we read it.
badly as characters.
Yes, they're like he uses the word savages a lot, like cannibals and
no.
Yeah. Not the colonizers.
Yeah.
Back it up, Christopher Columbus.
right. Anyways, so yeah, we read this at the art school, but I think we read it because we wanted to read Things Fall Apart, and so we needed to see like the context of why
What's
Things Fall Apart was written.
Dude, I wanna
So
read
it's
that.
it's like a response about the racism, but it's by
Is that one of your books that was your favorite?
no.
Okay.
It's by
Okay.
an African man. So
Things Fall Apart. That sounds familiar.
Dude, I have a copy of that, actually.
really,
Yeah, at home.
I liked it. It was pretty good. Okay, so in number one, my number one is All Quiet on the Western Front by Eric Maria Remarque, and I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know if I am.
Remarque.
So, okay, this is 100% absolutely the worst book I have ever had to read for class, if not the worst book I have ever read in general. Couldn't even tell you what the plot was. It was really dense and hard to understand, and I really hated it. I think I read it freshman year, and also the movie was very terrible as well. 1 out of 5 stars, avoid at all costs. And so I think it's about a guy named Paul who enlists in the German army during World War I,
As you do.
and probably regrets it, you know, just like I regret reading this book. However, I did do some research on it, and history's kind of cool. It was banned during the Nazi regime for being anti-patriotic, and we all know how much I love banned
I
books.
feel like this is a
But-
book I would.
Well, okay, and
enjoy.
the funny thing is, I looked it up on Goodreads, and it has a 4 out of 5.
Whoa.
I said this is the worst book
This,
I've ever
this
read.
sounds like a book I would enjoy.
It's really long. It's so dense.
How long?
It's really boring. I mean, I don't know the page count, but it's like
Oof.
that thick.
It's thick.
It's pretty thick.
It's a, you can't see how.
No, you
thick
can't see
she's-
my hands right now, but it's
but
big.
it's big.
It's hefty.
It's a big one.
Yeah, hated
Also,
it.
anyone, this is like a general thought.
Right.
I feel like any book you would hate, you hate more because you had to read it for school.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
I mean, especially at that point in my life, I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it made you read.
Yeah, oh god, it was so
You
bad.
know what they made me read freshman year of high school? The first book we ever read?
What?
Count of Monte Cristo.
Really?
Yeah.
The
Okay.
1,000-page one?
Okay, that's pretty. That's
Yeah.
pretty hefty.
What high schools did y'all go to?
Well, also, okay, so we read that, and then we read like Antigone, Julius Caesar, and Oedipus.
We
Let's
read
talk-
Eleanor.
Could we talk about Oedipus because
You read
I read Oedipus. I read Oedipus freshman year of high school,
Isn't that like,
and Antigone. Well, the Oedipus complex is you love your mom, or
which
whatever.
is like a real thing, right?
Right, but in the book, see, he gets kind of a pass, I guess, because in the book he didn't know it was his mom,
Mhm.
you know.
Oh.
So it's like kind of weird. But then he's like, "Oh my God, it's my mom," and then he gouges his eyes out.
Yep.
So,
Well,
anyways,
at least
so-
he
well-
has regret over it.
right, I read it freshman year. I don't know why this is such a popular book. I read it freshman year, and then I read it, or it's a play really, sophomore year, and then I had to read it again senior year.
Wow.
And I said,
painful.
I am done with this play.
I read it, I think twice. I
Yeah.
read it once freshman year, and then I read it another time junior year.
Well, anyways, I think that's
That's
pretty-
about
it. That's pretty much it.
We had a pretty good discussion.
Yeah, pretty good discussion.
Now we should go to dinner.
I'm not really hungry.
I'm not either.
Well, maybe in an hour.
I had cookout.
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 Okay.
Anyways.
Anyway,
So-
I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, thanks
we
for
hope
listening.
you enjoyed this episode.
Right.
It's not just.
No, I
for
hope
me.
you did not like it.
I hope you hated
I
this.
hope you hate. Please.
Just like how much I hated Oh Quiet on the Western Front.
Please unsubscribe.
Right.
Give us a
That
thumbs
would be
down.
really funny and cool.
Give us a 1-star on the Apple Store. Are
On
we
the
even
Apple.
on the Apple Store yet?
I don't know.
I'm on the Apple, Google Play, Spotify,
Spotify.
We're on
We're on
Spotify.
Spotify.
We're on Shredder. Whatever that
YouTube,
is it Shredder? Is
Stitcher.
that what it's called?
Stitcher?
Stitcher, yeah.
Unfollow us on
I don't
Instagram.
know. Unfollow us on Instagram,
And
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
If no one follows us on there anyway.
I do.
I do too.
I'm gonna unfollow all of the accounts.
Right. Alright, anyways.
Block us on Instagram.
Report our account.
Report our account.
Go big or go home.
It's not real.
Goodbye.
Bye.